So today we are back out in the woods. We've got the mobile command center all set up here. We've spent the night here last night. We're out with the mighty Ibex, our CFMOTO Ibex 800T. We're out on a camping expedition. We're actually just outside of a little town called Pilot Knob, Missouri. So Pilot Knob is in the eastern Ozarks, and we're not a real far from the Mississippi River right here. Probably an hour or so on to the east would be the river. But we've got some things I want to see today. There's some cool geology over here in this part of the Ozarks. The highest point in the Ozarks in Missouri is right here. We're going to go check that out. It's a little mountain called Sauk Mountain. So it should be interesting. We'll get loaded up here, and first things first, we got to go get some groceries in us this morning before we head out. So we're going to head to McDonald's. Pretty brisk night last night. I was very optimistic when I laid down to go to sleep. I didn't have on any a sweatshirt or anything. I just had a t-shirt on, and I don't know, a couple of hours later I got up and put a sweatshirt on. It started getting cold, and then a few hours after that I was putting some sweatpants on and an extra pair of socks. And anyhow, by the time I woke up this morning, I had about everything I brought with me on. I was wearing. It got down about 40 degrees, I think, last night, something like that. I didn't think it was going to be that cold, but it was, and it is. Looks like we've got a hospital. If I get all tore up, I know where to go. Go in there and get sewed back together. All right, here we are. This'll work. Well, that was a pretty good breakfast. Good as I'm gonna get. So we're gonna run over here and take a look at, there's a state park right down the road. It's called Elephant Rock State Park. Some giant, it's just about some big rocks, really. It's a pretty area, but get the old Ibex wound up and going here. We're going right here. We can park anywhere we want. That's pretty cool, just about anywhere we want. I think I'll just back her right in here. All right. This is another one of them walking situations where you got to take a hike. Storyboard said that this granite formed 2 miles underneath the earth, the surface of the earth, about 1.5 billion years ago. Some magma pushed up to a depth of only 2 miles, and it cooled real slow, made this granite. And 250 million years ago, after the granite was already in the ground and had started to decompose a little bit, started breaking up, the Ozark Plateau was pushed up about 250 million years ago. As it pushed up, the surface began to erode, and it eventually eroded down to the level where this granite was, and it became exposed. This is what we're looking at today. But all this formed 2 miles below the surface of the earth when magma pushed up to that level, and then it cooled very slowly and made all this granite. So on top of the hill is a a dome, the dome of the outcropping of granite. Sits up here, pretty big, large area. And on top of it there are where the park got its name, those big boulders up there are said to, they thought they looked like a train of elephants walking across there. I don't know about that, but they are pretty big rocks. We can go up there and take a look at them. So we're up here on top of the dome. Got some really, really big boulders right in here. These things are huge. And that one looks like it's just barely sitting on anything. It may take a slide one of these days. Pretty neat. We got a nice view from here as well. We're up in the highest part of the Ozarks. The highest in Missouri anyhow. We're not on Sauk Mountain. That would be the highest point. We'll go there a little later today and check that out, but we're up pretty high right here. We got a view. These rocks have got a view. They've had a view for a long time. This area here that we're in was, there's a big mine that mined this granite out of this area. And up here on top with these big rocks is a lot of graffiti that the miners have carved into the rock with their chisels. Here's one from 1907 and 1908. And this one here is a pretty nice one from 1908. And then this guy here, he wanted to be seen for sure. 1893 on this one. 25th of January 1893. These guys were here. Here you can see some evidence of the quarrying that was going on. They were drilling into these rocks and splitting them apart. Here you can see drill holes, and that rock actually is split. They didn't take it, but that's what they were doing there. Here's another rock they've been working on back in the day. They've drilled it full of holes and split it, but they didn't take the stone. Something wasn't good about it. They gave up on it. The mining operation, they would bring the rock that they quarried out of this, off this mountain, they would bring it here and put it on cars, railroad cars, and then haul it to the mill. You can see in this old window here how the building was built. Looks like about two layers of broken quarried stone here. Little mortar in there. Yep, the old building has burnt out. But you can see the rails coming in. Looks like maybe there was 2 sets of rails coming in here. That looks like an old pit they filled in. There might have been a pit they could run the cars over, and they could get under them, walk down in the pit, get under the cars or the engines to work on them. And the only gable that's left, you can see a keyhole up in here where a large beam, I don't know if it'd be a wooden beam or a metal beam. Looks like maybe a wooden beam. It's kind of square. Would have hooked in there, and then they would have made kind of like trusses off of that, going across to either side. It's kind of cool. They stacked a lot of rock in this building. Well, we'll see if any of our gear is left on the bike. Looks like it is. I believe we're all right. Well, that's pretty cool. Elephant Rock. Some pretty old rocks in there. Remnants of a quarrying operation that happened back in the early or late 1800s and early 1900s. We're going to run back into Ironton here and take a look at this old courthouse and see about the battle that happened here. And I believe we can see a divot in the top of the, towards the top of the building where a Confederate cannonball hit the building, or an artillery shell. Knocked a nice little divot in the brick, took out a chunk of it. They've just left it over the years, left the damage on it for prosperity, I guess. Wow, we need to go look at this old house right here. This thing is a jewel right here. Somebody's restored it or fixed it up. That is pretty cool. That's got the old style tin on it from way back. The real wide stuff. Now that's a grand old house right there. I'm sure that dude's from the 18 Civil War times probably. Probably about as old as the courthouse or older. Get them old flues, the fireplace flues, that's all they had to heat the house with. There's 3 of them right there showing. Probably some more on the back side. It's a brick home. That is pretty nice. Looks like the original windows and everything in that is pretty much original. So here is the courthouse. That's pretty neat. Yeah, they've still got there's a storyboard up here, I believe, that tells a little bit about it. Let's read the story on this and see if we can get a picture or two while we're here. So here's a look at the Iron County Courthouse. This was built in 1858, according to the storyboard. Pretty grand structure. They were doing a lot of iron mining. It was kind of a booming area in 1858, so this became the county seat of Iron County here in Missouri. In 1864, the Confederate Army came to town. They were trying to take over Missouri during the Civil War, and they had a battle here. It was one day before the battle at Pilot Knob. They had a battle here, and the old courthouse took a hit. It's got a cannonball or a artillery strike up here. You can see that dark chunk missing out of the bottom of the facade there. They've never fixed it, they just left it. And there's also bullet peck marks in the bricks and stuff from musket bullets, but the main thing that they got hit with was that artillery shell, so they got by pretty good. It didn't penetrate the building, cause a fire or anything. So the way they've done those windows is pretty cool. The brickwork over them, the arch, that was all done back in the day. But it's the original windows. The buttons and everything that are in there look like they're the real deal. That is a cool old courthouse for sure. And that house up on the hill there that we looked at on the way in is really a cool old house. That thing is neat. We're gonna run down and take a look at another little state park. It's called Sauk Mountain State Park. Sauk Mountain's the highest mountain in Missouri. I believe there are higher mountains in the Ozarks down in Arkansas possibly, but this is the highest one we've got here in Missouri. That's definitely a tower. We'll take a look at it and see. Well, I tried to climb the tower there. I got up about to the third layer, the third floor, I guess, about the tree, right at the treetops almost. And that was about as far as I could go. I just wanted down really bad. So I came down. I think there's a lookout. It's even better than this, on around on the side edge of the mountain over here. We'll go around there and see if there's anything to be seen. Well, they got toilets everywhere I've stopped. They've had pit toilets. That's good. Kind of important to have facilities when you're out and about, especially when you start getting old. Seems to be more important all the time. All right, I think if we go left here on this dirt road, there's a lookout point out here somewhere. kind of rough. I thought I was going to have to stand up on that one, but I made it. But it is horrible. You should have been there. Overlook, straight ahead, highest point. All right. Here we are on the lookout on top of Tom Sauk. We're about 2,500 feet. There's a lot of mountains out here that are high. As high as we are, it looks like. It's hard to tell, but it's not as impressive as I would have hoped. Yeah, that wasn't the most impressive overlook I've ever seen, but can't have everything. We're going to run on around. I believe there's a government campground up here too. I've never seen it. I've never been up on this mountain. We'll go take a look at it and see. This says day use area, Thompson campground, tent camping only. Well, that's right down my alley. Well, there's that site there is just a gravel site. That's a dirt site. Got a little pond, so you should have plenty of mosquitoes. That's good. Well, this is pretty neat. All right, well, we're gonna get off Tom Sauk Mountain here. I didn't see anything that really impressed me, to be honest. So this is the city reservoir, kind of outside of town here. Our campsite is just on the banks here on the back side of this lake, up in the woods just a little bit. It's a pretty sweet little spot, and got a neat construction here with a spillway. Kind of goes two different directions. We're back with you today. We've broken down camp. Got pretty much everything I own loaded up on the back of the Ibex here. She's kind of heavy in the back, but we're getting along all right. So I've made the 10-mile journey from my campsite to another state park here in the eastern part of Missouri. This is the Johnson Shut-ins State Park. We've done some videos on some shut-ins, some rhyolite shut-ins on some creeks where the rock blocks the creek up, and the rhyolite is really super hard rock, and the river can't cut through it very well, so it plugs the creek up. That's what this is. This is a state park that's built around this shut-in, is the main feature of this park, and they've got some really nice campgrounds in here. So we'll run down here and we'll go walk along the river or the creek and take a look at these shut-ins. They're pretty impressive. It's a really cool place. Piece of cake on that one. Go straight and just let it roll. Got over that one. Not a lot of water over those today. That's excellent. So we got a little walk to the creek, not too far. Get this gear off, get my cameras out, and we'll head to the creek. They're getting all geared up here. They got the hot dog trailer and the sandwich trailer set up, and they got a little store here with a bathroom, changing rooms. If you've got a $20 bill in your pocket burning a hole there, they'll be more than glad to take that from you. Go on in there, they'll take care of you. Well, we've made it to the creek. And it looks pretty much like any other creek you'd find in the Ozarks at this point. There's nothing really to give you any idea that there's anything special about it. Starting to see more rhyolite in the creek. The creek's made it through all right. It's not blocking it up. We've made it to the main shut-in here. This is the the most restricted part of the shut-in. Pretty cool spot. Of course, in the summer months, all these pools there's just people everywhere on this. So they got a bluff up here that runs along the river, and there's actually a stairway and a walkway. You can go up on the bluff and walk out to the end of it. We'll go check that out. We've got a few stairs to negotiate here though. Well, we're at the end of the trail. This is as far as the walkway goes down the creek. When I was young, people used to jump off this bluff right here into that pool down there. They put an end to that. Pretty neat. The walkway here to the creek is lined with, they've used rhyolite. It's abundant in the area, and you can see the color of it. It's really cool. It's kind of pink and blue in color, kind of unique. Very nice. This rhyolite's actually denser than granite. It's the harder or the more dense form of granite. And we looked at some mill wheels, some grinding wheels from back in the 1800s the other day. They used this rhyolite. They mined it or harvested it in this area, and they made mill wheels for the water mills to grind grain out of this rhyolite. It's really hard stuff. It's really pretty. Nobody messed with the bike. We're going to load up and start heading back towards the world headquarters. We've got some beautiful riding ahead of us here. It's just gorgeous country over here. See if we can get going here. All right, straight through. Oh, we made it. Yeah, those are green. Those bottoms are green. Ranger station right there. Look at that thing. That's our tax money at work right there. Them guys are living large. If you like to hike, man, this area of the Ozarks over here is just thick with hiking in the government woods. Nothing better than a Sunday ride through the government woods. It's just about as good as it gets. This is the Black River right here. I know nothing about the Black River. We'll go down here and look at it real quick. Yep, that's pretty. All right. Beautiful look at the Black River here, just gorgeous. Well, folks, I'm going to leave it with you. We've had a wonderful week of camping at Ironton, Missouri. I'll put a link to that little campground that I've been at there at Ironton. You can check it out if you ever get over in this part of the world. I'm going to jump on the bike and head for the world headquarters, get some groceries, and get cleaned up. Till I catch up with you again, you all take care of yourselves. We'll catch you next time.